Hi guys, thanks for clicking on the video today. My name is Maria and I'm back with another video. Y'all, in today's video, I wanted to come back and do just a quick review of the movie American Fiction. I did go and see it just yesterday, so I wanted to make this video while everything was still fresh in my mind. I did take some notes, but I don't know if I can refer to notes and do my makeup and talk at the same time. So I'm just going to come off the top of the head with it because I really did enjoy this movie, y'all. It was a really good movie. It really spoke to me. So the movie American Fiction. So this is a movie starring Jeffrey Wright, Sterling K. Brown, Tracee Ellis Ross. We got Erica Alexander. Those are the names that I remember because those are some of my favorite actors. But this movie is a dramedy, I guess you could say. There's drama, but there's a lot of comedy. And that's one of the things I like about the movie. It was really funny. So the movie centers around Jeffrey Wright's character. His name is Thelonious Monk, but he is called or referred to as Monk for short. He is a professor a tenured professor at a university in Los Angeles. He is also a novelist, but he hasn't produced any works or hasn't published any books in a long time. Is dealing with 3 different things at one time. So he is dealing with the fact that the university has asked him to take a leave of absence because he is being pretty much intellectually rude to his students, to his colleagues. He is just an asshole. That's his personality. He's an asshole. And so the university said, you know what, you take some time off. Go home to your family in Boston and get yourself together and come back and see if you know how to act. So that's one thing that he's dealing with. And then secondly, he's dealing with family trauma. His mom is sick. Sister Tracee Ellis Ross is trying to take care of the mom, but she needs help from Monk and his brother, which is Sterling K. Brown. Then thirdly, he's dealing with the fact that he cannot publish a book. He can't get a book published. According to his agent, the people, meaning white people, they want to see Black trauma. Because Monk, he writes these kind of high intellect, highbrow books, cerebral stories, and only a small segment of the population reads those types of books. And right now, Black trauma is what's selling. And he's going to either have to jump on the train or just not, be published. He runs into, I guess I would say she's his nemesis in a way. That's Issa Rae. So Issa Rae has written one of these ghetto fabulous books, and it's called We Lives in the Ghetto Now. Ridiculous. And he stumbles upon one of her readings, and she's being interviewed. She has an attentive audience, and she's reading from this book, and it's some of the most ignorant dialogue. It's kind of like that Ebonics or stereotypical, hood speech. So she's reading from the book, and he's just totally turned off and so upset about it. He just can't believe that this is what's selling and this is the type of work he has to produce if he wants to be a published writer. All right, so Monk takes a leave of absence from his job. He goes home to visit his family in Boston. They live on the coast of Massachusetts, so it's a seaside town where most African Americans live on this island. Monk gets there. We meet his sister, Tracee Ellis Ross. So I'm just going to go give a quick breakdown of his family. So we see Tracee Ellis Ross. She is his sister. She is a physician. She also is a chain smoker. And Monk asks her, when did you start smoking again? And she mentions that she started smoking again after her divorce. So we know that she's divorced. She's a doctor. And she smokes a lot of cigarettes. And so we see Monk and Tracee's character. I'm sorry, I cannot remember her name. I just remember Monk's name. But we see that they, reconnect with each other. They have some really good brother-sister moments. You can tell that Monk, while he is an asshole, he does love his family. And they have, he and Tracee, they have a good relationship, even though he's kind of disconnected from the family. Because we see what Tracee is telling him, I need you to come home more. Mom's getting sick. She's starting to have some mental issues. So I'm going to need some help taking care of her. So he offers, can we, hire a nurse? Is there a facility we can put her in? And Tracee lets him know that she doesn't have any money because her ex-husband, he took all of her money in the divorce. Monk says he doesn't have any money. And I don't know why he doesn't have any money. He's a tenured professor. He has published books in the past. He doesn't have any children. We don't see really what his lifestyle is about. But he says he doesn't have any money to contribute to the care of his mom. Then they have a brother, which is Sterling K. Brown. Y'all, he is the highlight of this movie. He is the comic relief, and he does a great job. He deserves all the awards that he is nominated for, because he comes in, he also is a doctor. So this is a very prestigious family. He's a plastic surgeon, but he's recently out of the closet because his wife came home and caught him in bed with a man. So she divorced him, took all his money plus half his practice. His children hate him, and he says he doesn't have any money. But the one thing he does have, and I'm not saying he has a cocaine addiction, but he does snort a lot of cocaine. Okay, so I don't know, maybe if that's where his money is going. And the funny thing about Sterling K. Brown's character is that he lives in Tucson, Arizona, where there's only one gay bar that's on a college campus, and the kids always mistake him for Tyler Perry. Y'all, that had me hollering. But anyway, so, you know, and this is a spoiler because this was a spoiler for me. So just as we're getting used to Tracee Ellis Ross and Monk, you know, really, you know, having that sibling bond. Tracy's character is funny. She's lighthearted. But just as we're really getting used to her and getting to love her, she has a heart attack and she dies. Yeah, I was so heartbroken by that. But anyway, so now Monk is left to take care of his mom, to figure out how to take care of his mom pretty much on his own. And like you said, he doesn't have any money. So out of frustration, out of desperation, out of intoxication, he starts writing this book, My Pathology. Writing this book, he has been drinking. So like I said, out of frustration, desperation, and intoxication, he starts writing My Pathology. And it is a book full of, I don't want to say black vernacular, but it's a book filled with stereotypical language. It has the N-word, like, mentioned at a ridiculous rate. I mean, just the N-word everywhere. And I do love the fact that the director let the characters actually come into the room with Monk as he's creating them. And one of the characters is Keith David. Y'all know him from Greenleaf and so many other movies and TV shows. I love Keith David. So he's in the room. He's an alcoholic father. He's having a conversation with his drug dealing son, and they go back and forth telling each other, you ain't shit, you ain't shit, you ain't shit, you ain't shit because I ain't shit. You know, that kind of stuff. Again, that black trauma. He's writing it, and it's just the most ridiculous thing. It seems like he wrote the book overnight. He turns it in the next day to his agent. The agent sends it out to different publishers, and the publishers love it. They want to publish the book, and they offer him, I think it was $750,000, something crazy like that. He didn't want to take the money because, like he said, this was a joke. This is not serious. You know, I can't put my name on it. But at the time that this is happening, his mom, they have a maid. I can't remember her name either, but they have a maid. She's a really good actress. She is watching the mom and leaves out of the house. And again, she has early stage dementia. And she gets out of the house at night, and they find her walking in the water on the beach because they live by, you know, next to the beach. And because his mom really needs some care now, he goes to a memory care facility and finds out what he needs to do. And they tell him for a private room, I think it's going to be like $6,900. And he is like, oh shit. So he goes back and he takes the $750,000 for this trash of a book. So now he has to write it, well, he has to promote the book under a different pen name because he doesn't want his name attached to this type of book. So he picks the name Stag R. Lee. I don't know what that means. I don't know if there's any significance to that. But that's the name that he writes the book under. And his identity kind of gets out of hand. So now he's a fugitive running from the FBI. And this is his book, this is his story. But we never hear about, okay, what crime did he commit that he's running from the FBI? All while this is going on, they give us a love story. They give Monk a love interest. And while he was having a conversation with his brother, we find out that he has had a girlfriend in the past. He was dating a white woman. Which is odd because, well, not odd, because he mentions at some point in the movie that he doesn't see race. And his agent has to remind him, you may not see race, but race is always around you. And side note, I just feel like when I hear, especially when I hear black people say, oh, I don't see race, I feel like that's just another way of saying you prefer to be in white spaces. You prefer white partners. You prefer white acceptance. So that's what I thought of when he made that statement. Oh, I don't see race. And then we find out that his ex-girlfriend is a white woman. We also find out that his father, who is deceased, and he's deceased by suicide, was always cheating on his mom with white women. And Sterling K. Brown's wife, ex-wife, is a white woman. And we don't know the race of Tracy Ellis Ross's husband. They never mentioned. But like I said, we get a love interest for Monk, and that is from Erica Alexander. The one thing I did not like about their relationship, so Monk is very pretentious. He's very pretentious. I think he feels like everybody is inferior to him, even his students, his colleagues, his readers. He looks at black people as being inferior to him. When he sees Erica Alexander, there's no build up to say, oh, this is going to be his love interest. So she's his neighbor. She lives across the street from him. She's coming in from the grocery store and she drops her groceries on the ground and her tomatoes fall out. Now I'm thinking he's outside on the phone with his agent. I'm thinking he's going to turn around, see her, and there'll be a spark. But there's no spark. He turns around. He sees that she's, dropped her groceries. So he rushes over to help her pick them up. Seems to be more concerned about the tomatoes hitting the ground than he is about her. Like, I don't know. I can't remember if she invited him inside of her house or if they just changed the scene and he just happened to be now in the house. So now he's in the house. They're sharing a drink, drinking more wine. And, she finds out that he's a writer and who he is. And she lets him know, oh, I know your books. I've read your books. And he was like, which one? So she tells him which one. And that's another thing. We don't get any insight into really what his books are about. She mentions some characters that she liked from his books, but we don't really know what his books are about. But anyway, so they are talking and, he asks her what she does. She's an attorney. She's a public defender, I think she said. And so they kind of talk about their careers a little bit. And then all of a sudden, this man walks in. So this man walks in and I'm thinking, oh, well, maybe he's her son or somebody. But I'm like, no, this man looks too old to be her son. So he walks in. It's kind of a little bit of awkwardness. And he introduces himself to Monk. And he asks if Monk is going to be staying for dinner. And she says, no, he was just leaving. He swallows that wine. He wasn't going to leave that wine on the table. And he leaves her house and goes back home. So the next day comes outside while he's outside and she apologizes for the night before. And she says that guy is her ex-boyfriend and they're currently going through a breakup and that it's been really hard. At the same time, she tells Monk, I like you. I want to see you again. Would you like to have dinner? And he says, yeah, he would like that. And you see he kind of, has a little bit of a smile on his face. Like, yeah, she likes me. So the thing that bothers me about this scene, y'all, he didn't show any interest in her. She showed interest in him. And to me, it felt like the only reason he liked her is because she liked his books. And we'll see more of that toward the end. But I don't think if she hadn't made a move, he wasn't going to make a move because the way his character is set up, I don't think he would be interested in a black woman. I feel like he just liked the fact that she liked his books. Yeah, I don't know why the lighting keeps changing. But anyway, so in the meantime, while all of this is going on, the book is flying off the shelves. People are loving the book. Publishers are loving the book. It's flying off the shelves. He's getting movie deals. He's going on interviews, but he's not going on interviews as himself. So they're playing up this whole I'm running from the FBI thing. So all of his interviews have to be not anonymous, but kind of like incognito. He has to be behind a black screen or whatever because he has to hide his identity. They think he's hiding his identity because of the nature of his crimes and he's on the run, but he's really hiding his identity because he's the loneliest monk. So his now girlfriend, that's another thing. They had dinner one time. Now all of a sudden, Monk and Erica Alexander are boyfriend and girlfriend, as he tells it. So anyway, so everything just moves so quickly with that relationship. But anyway, so all of this stuff is going on. The book is gaining momentum. He's getting more and more nervous. He's getting more and more agitated, because like, this is ridiculous. They're going to find me out. Why are people liking this type of stuff? And he eventually gets a call from some type of literary committee in Boston. They want him to be a judge for new works that are coming out. And he reluctantly agrees to be on the judging panel. So with this judging position, he has to read a lot of books, of course, give his opinion. He has a team of other judges. So one of the other judges is Issa Rae, who, like I said, he ain't really feeling because she's writing these kind of books, kind of like that Tyler Perry, Spike Lee drama that happened some years ago. And there's 3 other white people. So he gets on this board to be a judge, to judge all these books. And all the white people want Issa Rae's book to win. But then they hear about this new book. Now, he changed the title of the book from My Pathology to F-U-C-K, thinking that would make the white people not want to publish the book. But no, they fell even more in love with it. And then he made a comment that the dumber my book gets, the richer I get. So, because he did take a $4 million deal to turn the book into a movie. It's the most ridiculous thing. But they get on this judging panel together, and this is where the real meat and potatoes of the movie starts. He and Issa Rae's character have some really good dialogue on what it means to be a black creative. And how, a lot of times you're just expected to, create black art. And the black art that you create is not even your story. It's what the people, and by people I mean white people, it's what they think your story is. And to them, they think all black people live in the hood. Black women are all baby mamas with no good baby daddies. We have no father figures in our lives. We, just scratching and surviving. That's what they think the black story is. And Monk just thinks that is disrespectful to black people. He makes a comment where he says black people have so much potential. And Issa Rae's character responds to him and says, potential is something that you say when you see something as inferior to you. And this goes back to how I said a little while back that I feel like he sees black people, his people, as inferior to him. Because there's a scene, so they have a maid, and the maid, I guess she's been with them, since he and his siblings were children. And since the mom is in a facility now, and the maid met her man, hun, she's dating and has accepted a marriage proposal from the town security guard. Well, I guess he's like the town security or the town police. And that's another really, really cute love story that they really don't expound on. We don't really know like the backstory. They just appeared on the screen and they like each other. Now they get married and she's, moving out of Monk's family. Well, she's no longer going to be working for the family. And when she gets ready to leave, after she's married and everything, she's packing up her stuff, she's getting ready to leave. And he said, hey, wait a minute, you're forgetting something. And she's like, what? He's like, you're forgetting and he hands her her apron. He's like, "You're forgetting your apron." And she just kind of looked at it like, why would you give me this? But she's like, "I don't need that. I don't need that." And he was like, "Oh," so he's left there holding it. But again, I think his wheels are turning. Like maybe that was insensitive to say. And then throughout the movie, they always mention this lady as being their family. She's family because when Monk and Sterling were talking about the finances and how they're going to get money to pay to have their mother in this, be a part of this facility. The brother Sterling K. Brown was like, "Why don't we just fire the maid?" And they say her name. I cannot remember her name. But, the first response is, "Let's fire her." And Monk is like, "No, she's family." But I think he still always saw her as the maid. Again, going back to his relationship with Erica Alexander, I feel like he only liked her because she liked his book. And then when he found out that she had read the book, F-U-C-K, and he asked her what she think, and she said she really liked the book, it was over. It was over then. He was like, "Okay, people like you." He made a comment like, "People like you read stuff like this." And so she told him, "Get out my house." And that was kind of like the end of their relationship. Move forward in the story, and things just really pretty much get out of hand. There's so many talking points in this movie that I just can't remember them all. But because like I said, I'm trying to go off the top of my head. But anyway, so when he's a part of this judging circle for this new literary award, the group decides that the winner of this prestigious award should be the book F-U-C-K by Stagg R. Lee. Stagg R. Lee. And he tried to fight against it, but it turned out, and Issa Rae didn't like the book either. She felt like the book was pandering to white people, and she thought it was ignorant. And so he was like, "Well, what's the difference between this book and your book? Your book, it's the same book." And she had her defense, and she felt like my books are about real people. I interview people, I talk to people, these are their stories, and blah 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 blah. And she just felt like the book F-U-C-K was just a farce. It was pandering. So he was upset about that. But the group, they decided that F-U-C-K should win this prestigious literary award. So they have a big banquet, an award ceremony. And of course, Stagg R. Lee can't come to the awards banquet because, again, he's on the run from the FBI. So when they call his name to receive the award, Monk gets up and walks to the podium to receive the award. But that's kind of like where the movie ends. It doesn't really give us a real ending. I didn't like the ending. I didn't like the way it ended because it kind of left everything open. For one, it left everything open as far as his relationship with Erica Alexander. I kind of wanted that to be fleshed out a little bit more. Y'all, I'm trying to put this on right. All right, guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this review up. So everything plays out. Like I said, he wins this prestigious book award. His book is published. He's made a lot of money. His mom is in a great facility. She's been taken care of very well, because that is what really his motive was. You kind of feel like he was being selfish in writing this book just so he can, make money and get out. So I want to pause right here because I think he wrote the book just so he can kind of stick it to the man, but he actually had the book published so he could take care of his mom because he needed the money so she could have a private room at the memory care facility. The awards and recognition, but he really wrote it so he could take care of his mom. That's what I believe. But we get to the end of the movie and he's at the awards banquet. They present the award to Stagg R. Lee for the book F-U-C-K, and he gets up to go accept the award, and people are like, "Why is Monk getting up? Why is he getting up? Why is he getting up? Who is it? What is he doing?" Even the guy at the podium was like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" He was like, "Move out the way." He begins to talk, and what it feels like he's beginning to tell his story, and then the movie ends. I kind of want you guys to see this lip close up. All right, guys, so I have my lip on. I use the Milani Cashmere and the Lip Bar Boss Lady. I don't know. It's kind of not doing what I want it to do, but I'm tired of messing with it. So let me just go ahead and close out this video, y'all, by giving y'all my good, bad, and ugly about American Fiction. The good with American Fiction is that I really and truly loved the setting in a university, academia, because my degree is in English. I have a degree in English. I've studied many writers. I've read many writers. I have written book reports. I worked for a little while as a news reporter. So I do have a background in writing, but one of my ultimate life goals is to write a novel because I have so many stories in me that I need to get them out, but that's something that I have not accomplished. I've made many attempts. I've tried. But I guess really I don't have the discipline to complete a book. I don't know, y'all. God's still working on me. I'm just being honest. But I love telling stories. So if I can't write it, I can speak it. And I've done that in the Atlanta area a little bit by just going to open mics and stuff like that. But I am a student of literature. And so that is one thing that I liked about this movie. I also like the setting. I love when movies, have a sense of place, the whole coastal area. I think they were on the coast of Massachusetts. Yeah, Boston. They were on the coast of Massachusetts. I hope to retire to the coast one day. Yeah, when I retire. That's one of my goals. So I did enjoy seeing that. I love beachy coastal towns. And it's like there's so much in the movie. There was kind of a lot of darkness. But when you got to this beach community that was a Black beach community, the sun was shining, everything was crisp and clear. There was always a nice breeze, and it was just nice. So I loved that part of the movie. I also love the humor and the comedy in the movie from Sterling K. Brown. His character is really standout, and he has been nominated for Best Supporting Actor in a movie for an Oscar. He needs to get it. If I could make it happen, I would make it happen. Matter of fact, the movie is nominated for 5 Oscars, Academy Awards, Best Picture, Best Actor, Jeffrey Wright. He deserves that as well. Again, Best Supporting Actor for Sterling K. Brown, Best Picture, Best Adaptation of a Screenplay, and Best Score. Now, I don't remember the music in the movie. I can't tell you what songs were playing. I don't remember the music, but I remember the story. But anyway, so yeah, so that's the good. Sterling K. Brown's character. He's a funny character, but also a tragic character because, even though he's been gay all of his life, one of the things he wanted is for his family to accept him, and his siblings did, but he didn't think his father ever knew he was gay. And his mom, there's a scene where he goes to the memory care facility to see her, and you could tell he longs for the love and nurturing of his mother, and he's in there, he's dancing with her, and just trying to bring that familiarity back to her because her mental state is declining. And while they're dancing, she looks up at him and she says, "I knew you were never one of those queer boys." And it just really hurts Sterling K. Brown's character, and he stops dancing with her, leaves the facility. We think he's going home, but he just went back to the beach house and had just a binge of sex and cocaine with men and stuff. So he got a lot going on. But I loved his character. I really connected to his character as far as the humor in him. What else what is the good about the movie? The dialogue is good. The writing is good. The story itself is good. It's based on a book called Erasure. I'm going to put that up here. And it's a good story that sparks a lot of dialogue about race. Jeffrey Wright's character, I think he looks so good. And I never saw Jeffrey Wright as a sex symbol, but he was very attractive in this movie. He looked good. So, okay, so let's move on to the bad. The bad is pretty much just the family trauma. It's like, Jeffrey Wright always saw Black people as having the problems and having the family issues. You got the deadbeat dad. You got the sister that's always, getting pregnant by no good men. And there's poverty. There's all this strife and struggle. That's their problem. But even in his own family, there was a lot of shit going on. From his dad, who had committed suicide by shooting himself in the head. He was also an adulterer, cheating on his mom constantly. The mom knew, but you know how some women do. His sister, with the chain smoking and the divorce, his brother, I just told you what he was going through. And even with Jeffrey Wright himself, I think he had like an identity issue. He knew he was a black man, but he only wanted to be black at certain times. Y'all know people like that. But anyway, so yeah, just that issue of family trauma and race. And Jeffrey Wright made that comment, I don't see race. But like the agent said, well, you may not, but other people do. So, and there's one scene where, this is the scene, I know you guys saw it in the trailer, where Jeffrey Wright goes to a bookstore. He's looking for his books, and he asked the associate, you have any books about Thelonious Monk? And they was like, yeah, he's over here in the African American Studies section. So he gets upset. He's like, my books don't belong in the African American Studies section. He felt like his books belong up in the mainstream. So he gathers all his books, takes them to put them up in the mainstream section. And that's where he sees Issa Rae's book in that section, which is crazy because her book is that black book. But anyway, so and he makes the comment that the only thing black about his books is the author and the ink on the page. So he just had his identity with blackness. Anyway, but that was bad. And then the ugly, I just feel like, I just hate that so many things were left just open. Like, for instance, Tracee Ellis Ross' character, she dies and nobody comes to the funeral. Jeffrey Wright officiates, or Monk, whatever, he officiates the service, her burial, and they just had her cremated, and he poured her ashes into the ocean. But the only people there were Monk, Sterling K. Brown, their mother, and the maid. That was it. Like, no other family member. She was a physician. She didn't have any colleagues, like the ex-husband, even though they're divorced, seemed like you would still come to her funeral. So it was like nobody else around, just them as the family. So I just hate that was kind of left. Like, we got to know and love Tracee in the movie, and then she just went away, never to be spoken of or heard of again. So I don't even understand what the purpose of that was. But anyway, but she was good while she was on screen. I didn't like his relationship with Erica Alexander. I just felt like it was a one-sided relationship. It was something they got together so quickly. It was like no build up to it. Again, like I said, I feel like he liked her because she liked his book and she liked him. I don't know why. I mean, you really didn't get any chemistry from them. So that was a love story that kind of fizzled out just as soon as it started. Because she was in a relationship with a man the night before, and the next day, hey, Monk, I want you. And he was like, okay, that was it. Also, the story with the maid, we didn't get any backstory on her real relationship with the family and her moving on. I don't know. It was just a lot of stuff that was left with no ending. Just like the movie, the ending of the movie. I did not like the ending of the movie. I don't know. I just didn't like it. I'm not going to spoil it, but I just didn't like the ending. I felt like they could have did something better than what they did. Let's see. And also, like, again, just a story about race. Always, the people, and by people, I mean the white people, thinking that all black stories look the same and that we are all about struggle, poverty, bad decisions, hurt, trauma, tragedy. Like, that is what that is what our stories are about. And, you hear a lot about people, being over, a lot of black people being over the black trauma type of stories. I think a lot of people were saying that when they talked about The Color Purple. I didn't go see The Color Purple because I've seen the original, plus I read the book. So I knew a lot about The Color Purple. I felt like this musical, or this adaptation of the musical, was more for a new generation. But the new generation, I feel like they didn't really want to see it either. Like, nobody wants to see Black trauma all the time, you know. I don't know. So yeah, I think that the story of American Fiction spoke to that. And yeah, but it was overall, y'all, it was a good movie. I highly, if I had to give it 10, rated 1 through 10, I would give it an 8. I would definitely rate it as an 8 out of 10 because, again, just a good story. It's going to spark conversation. I think a lot of us can relate to a lot of the things that are going on in the book as far as, you know, just wanting to be more than a stereotype. Like all of us are not stereotypes. And so, yeah, so I could keep talking on and on. I know my friend, he was so like over me because last night I went to see the movie by myself, but when I got home, I was like, let me tell you about the movie. And I just talked and talked and talked and talked and talked and talked. Yeah, so I'm not going to do that to you guys. All right, guys, so that's it. Go see American Fiction. Go see it. I think you're going to really enjoy it. Y'all know Jeffrey Wright is the man. Sterling K. Brown is the man. Tracee Ellis Ross, even though she's only on screen for a short period of time, still does an excellent job. Erica Alexander, we remember her, Maxine Shaw, attorney at law. She does her thing too, as well as all of the other characters that I cannot remember their names. All right, guys, my camera's about to die, so I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.